Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm really excited to be unboxing Yamaha's brand new R-N1000A. Part of the Yamaha Musicast ecosystem, it sits well above the brand new, admittedly, R-N600 and 800. It shares probably more of its circuit topography and parts with the AS1200, AS22, their flagship high quality classic sort of series amplifiers. It's stunningly well built. It delivers 110 watts a channel, which is only a little bit more than perhaps the smaller RN800. But what that doesn't highlight is the current and control that it delivers and the quality of the job that it does with that wattage. Sonically superior than all of the lesser ones. It comes with A and B speakers, a YPAO mic setup. Now that enables the amplifier to send test signals through your speakers in your room and listen to that to manage all sorts of elements of its feature set and quality set, that is. It's got a 32-bit 384 kilohertz DAC on board. Absolutely stunning. Nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like it in its price point. So, let's have a look. Firstly, the packaging. It's got off to one side scannable information associated with the model and serial number. Obviously some courier tickets and other information of course as well. It's got a full colour sticker on the side with RN1000, model number obviously, and an implication of its colour. It's really cool because this one's in silver. Boring end, another emulation. Because at the top we see lots and lots of compliance information and all sorts of things. They've probably patented half of this. And then of course more interesting stuff associated with Tidal, Qbuzz, Spotify, AirPlay 2, Bluetooth, you name it, all with lovely logos. Opening these amplifiers is really straightforward. It's a simple enough process to sort of nick the plastic tape and get into it. Now, tilting it forward for a moment, we see an elaborate array of accessories. The lesser models, the lighter ones, have replaced polystyrene with a moulded cardboard. The heavier ones, needing a little bit of support, means that unfortunately Yamaha is still using polystyrene with it, but at least they're making efforts where they can to reduce the environmental impact of some of the more permanent materials like polystyrene. Look, in here we've got an FM DAB aerial. Look, unfortunately here in New Zealand we've got no DAB, so we'll just be using it for FM. There's a quick start guide, there's a more comprehensive user manual, and a lot of things associated with international communication should there be a problem or warranty. If you want to see what's inside it, have a look at the RN800 unboxing video here. We've got a traditional New Zealand IEC power cord. It's 2 pins, no earth. We've got Yamaha's YPAO mic setup. Now that's got a really long cable, and I guess, and it's got a hole in the bottom for a camera stand or a mic tripod. All ideal. Now if you're using the microphone, a couple of things. Firstly, try and get it approximately ear level in your sitting position, and try and make sure it's as level as possible. It doesn't need to be millimetre perfect, right? But it's it's how level it is that is going to influence how the microphone reacts. There's a couple of AA batteries which go in Yamaha's remote control. Now the remote, good look and fit and finish. It's a silver sort of plastic remote with the illusion of aluminium on the front. It gives you the ability to control all of the major functions associated with the amplifier, including diving into the setup menus and all sorts of things associated with streaming. Although you're more likely to probably use the Musicast app on your phone to do that. It's just a bit quicker and more intuitive perhaps. A couple of pieces of polystyrene which are protecting that in transit. And then a very heavy, beautifully built amplifier. Okay, rid of that. Right. Now there's that sort of poly paper protecting it directly against the amplifier, ensuring there's going to be no scratches. Removing that last piece is very straightforward. Sliding that off and getting rid of this. We see the amplifier for the first time. Now the first thing is the two-tone design. Obviously silver being an option with most of the range, and then a black sort of sub-chassis design. This was first seen in the R-N1000, which is higher end again, and absolutely stunning to see an emulation in this lesser model. The first thing we see over in this corner is the Yamaha screen printed logo along with the R-N1000A. We've got a traditional switch power supply and a little standby light above it. Beneath it is a gold plated headphone socket at 6 1/4 and a 3.5mm input specifically for the YPAO mic. You've got the ability here with this the button marked speakers to cycle through the options associated with A, B, A plus B and off. You've got a lovely rotary encoder, good look and feel, fit and feel to it, labelled input, and it scrolls through all of the inputs in a loop. We've got traditional bass, treble and balance controls with these sort of analog pots, which is a design element straight out of Yamaha's classic series, and it's wonderful that we've emulated it with such a resource-driven amplifier like a Musicast streaming amp like this. We see a unique feature which is Yamaha's loudness, and then an easy-to-use rotary encoder that allows you to dive into all manner of elements associated with its setup, but also the ability to navigate through the music that you might have on your server and all sorts of things like internet radio and you name it. When navigating through it, we use the return button to sort of move backwards and forwards, so to speak, as pushing it gives you an enter, return takes you back a step. You've got a preset button. Now that's associated with the memory presets and the radio tuner presets. There's a pure direct switch, which is a hard button with a light illuminating, because it kills off the display and eliminates the circuit through the front bass and treble, for example, to purify the signal as best as it can. Then there is a rotary encoder volume control, clearly marked, and it's one of the biggest knobs that it's got. You've got screen printing here for the DAB+, and a couple of little indicator lights associated with Bluetooth and connectivity associated with it. Bluetooth blinks when it's in a pairing mode, goes solid when it's found your device. And then you've got a Wi-Fi connection, of course, as well. Please, as always, hang around for the close-up photographs, because it's here that we see the lovely, discrete, centrally located display, which helps not only with its navigation, but also lets you know all sorts of things. It changes with the volume and input that you might be using, of course, as well. Now, there's heaps of ventilation, and I guess, as always, these videos really don't give you an understanding of the build quality of these. It's really quite heavy, in fact very heavy for its price, and indicating not only is it well built, but there's a big power supply delivering all of the current and voltage required to control the load or speakers you're going to attach. It's not very deep, it's a relatively standard form factor. It's not as deep as some of the bigger classic series amps. It's at the back that everything gets really pretty cool. Starting with the boring bit, we see an IEC power socket. Now it's worth mentioning that they've gone to the expense of coating all of the inputs and outputs with a gold preservative coating. Bit of information associated with its voltage. And then what is unique to this particular model is the TV or audio return channel via an HDMI. Now this isn't an output, it's not going to give you an on-screen display, but it will allow you to make a very simple connection to the TV, and with that establish two-way control if required as well. Again, gold plated, we've got the A and B speakers, and you'll see the fit and finish of these is stunning. Clearly labelled A and B, left and right. Very, very easy to wire up and get the most out of it. Above the speaker connections we see a couple of things associated with servicing, and then a traditional network socket. There's an aerial for wireless and Wi-Fi, and a USB. Now this is an asynchronous USB connection for when you're streaming from perhaps a laptop or something like that, and it will run DSD audio and things at the very high end as well. Beneath it we've got a couple of outputs associated with a subwoofer and then a trigger out, enabling this to turn on and off other devices if required. In the middle there, sort of on its own, we've got a DAB and FM aerial connection. It's an F-type, obviously where you connect the aerial. And above that, a single coax digital and two optical digital inputs. The lesser models have a couple of coaxes. They've reduced it to one, but they've ensured that it's also preserved again with the traditional gold plating. The amplifier has quite a unique feature in its class, which is a pre-out, enabling you to use this in a much larger and perhaps more elaborate setup if required. We've got dedicated off to one side an excellent phono preamp along with its ground connection, and then a series of analog inputs simply labelled line 1 and 2, clearly labelled left and right, and then above it a separate one associated with the CD, again clearly labelled left and right. So, there we have it. Yamaha's brand new Musicast streaming amplifier. All the features on board. Tidal, Deezer, AirPlay 2, you name it, it will do anything. Wired and wireless. It's got the Yamaha YPAO mic. It's 110 watts a channel. It's got A and B speakers. There's a 384 kilohertz DAC. It's absolutely stunning. So I'm very, very proud to be sharing this brand new model and unboxing it with you here today. The Yamaha R-N1000A, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.